afternoon, good evening to you, the people of the tube. Hope you're well today. Hope you're feeling grand all in your world. Hi there. Today, welcome to another episode of How Many Tones Can You Get Out of One Amplifier. Today, we are after the tone of Mr. Noel Gallagher. Noel's tone has been a pig to get. I have to say that. It has been an absolute pulling what little hair I have out of my head kind of tone. It's been driving me mad. I actually found like Eddie Van Halen's tone and Mike McCready's tone quicker than I found Noel's tone, and it was a pig, and I'll explain why in a bit. But anyway, first off, let's talk about what Noel uses and has used in the past. Well, let's face it, what has Noel not used? He's literally used everything, but there's a few mainstays of his setup which is predominantly a Gibson guitar, either a Les Paul or a 355, which is his favourite guitar. It's a Gibson 355, that's his favourite guitar. It's a cherry red hollow body. And I've got to say, I love 355s as well. I've played a few, and they're always just like, oh God, to die for. Absolutely adore 355s. I prefer them to 335s. All these numbers get a bit confusing. But anyway, so that's Noel's favourite guitar. He's had, lots of Les Pauls. He's got like a 59 reissue, which he used in the later days of Oasis in the 2000s. Early days, Noel's kind of first guitar he used when Oasis kind of like first got signed in '94 was just a bog standard Epiphone Les Paul. It wasn't, it wasn't anything special. It was just an Epiphone Les Paul. And then Johnny Marr gifted him a 1960s Gibson Les Paul to use, because Johnny Marr said he went to see them and Noel was just forever retuning the Epiphone because it just wouldn't stay in tune. So he said, you need a better guitar, so he lent him a 1960s Les Paul. I mean, that's not a bad lend at the end of the day, is it? And Noel used that for ages until he broke the headstock, hitting this guy over the head with it. Apparently the story goes that a guy jumped on stage and started attacking Liam, and Noel just went up to him and smacked him with the guitar, and he snapped the headstock clean off. So he rang Johnny Marr again and said, can I borrow another guitar? And he gave him a black Les Paul Custom. It's got the Oasis sticker on the scratch plate. But, Joe Bonamassa would be like, have a heart attack if he heard that. But anyway, yeah, so guitar-wise, that's what he used. Kind of mainly Gibson. He has used Fender, though. I've seen him with Fender Telecasters. Rarely seen him with a Strat. He doesn't use a Strat a great deal, but I have seen him playing one. In the Ballad of Mighty Eye, the video, he's using a Stratocaster in that video. I mean, that's obviously not playing, but he's still got one, and I'm sure he does use them for this and the other. He's using Jazzmasters recently. They're not Fender, they're by a company called Nash, but he's using Jazzmasters recently. But predominantly, it's a Gibson, kind of most of the time, really. And I say it's mostly predominantly at this point in time a 355. Early days, it was more Les Pauls. And there's also the Epiphone Sheraton as well, which he adored. There's an Epiphone Sheraton he used quite a lot, and there's also the Sheraton with the Union Jack, which is, which I think he only ever used twice, I think he said, or something like that. I don't know, I think he used it more than that. But anyway, so that's guitar-wise. Amps, again, what has he not used? Marshall, Orange, Vox, Fender, High Watt, you name it, he's probably used it at some point. He's just one of those kind of like, it's never finished. I mean, he's stuck with the High Watts for quite a while now. He's had the High Watts for quite a while, but he's always had massive amp rigs. Like when he played Nebworth, he had the Wem Dominators. When he played Nebworth, he had 2 Wem Dominators, a JCM 900 double stack, and 2 Marshall Blues Breakers running. I mean, that's enough to kill dogs from 60 yards, that sound. Anyway, so, yeah, again, that's what he's used amp-wise, and the same with pedals. What has Noel not used? He's a big fan of delay. He uses, in the early days, there was a Space Echo, big kind of like head thing, looks really cool. And that was his kind of like only effect in the early days, in 1994. And he uses that for kind of weird sounds and delay for guitar solos. Later on, there was like tube screamers, wah-wah pedals, phasers, more overdrives. The Hughes and Kettner Rotosphere, I think it's called, uses it for gas panic and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, Noel is just one of those massive gear guys. he's not technical about it, but he just likes lots of stuff, and he uses what he needs to use to get the kind of like the sound and the job done, so to say. So what I'm using today to replicate the sound, apart from the CR120, which I'm only using the dirty channel, I'm not using the clean channel at all, and no pedals, so just straight in, just dirty channel. Is I'm using my Revelation quad, and I'm just using the bridge pickup only. Noel didn't flick between pickups really at all. He's mainly just a bridge pickup guy. And you might ask, why are you using this and not the Epiphone Les Paul if that's what Noel used? Simply because this guitar just wasn't giving me the right sound at all. It was nowhere near, this guitar sounded nowhere near Noel's sound whatsoever. And I thought that was a bit weird because, you know, Epiphone Les Paul, Noel used an Epiphone Les Paul, but no, it just wasn't there. And after a few days of struggling with that, I just gave up. And initially went to my white Strat, and that was close. And then I went to this, and I was like, this has just got a little bit more fatness, and it just got a little bit more of that, but it's got clarity, which is kind of which the Epiphone didn't have, which is kind of a key thing to Noel's tone, is clarity. When he does picking stuff, which he does a lot with chords in full distortion, you need to be able to hear every note. So, without further ado, let me show you the EQ on the amplifier, because it's worth a chuckle. Okie dokie, so EQ on the Orange CR120 today is, well, like I say, clean channel is not being used at all, so everything's on 0. So volume, bass, treble, all on 0. I've got the gain set to 6, wait for the EQ everyone, 0, 0, 0. I don't know why I have treble, middle and bass all off, but for some reason the sound seemed to be there, and I've got the volume on 10, I've got the reverb set to the spring mode on 6, just because it I've got it to basically simulate the delay pedal that Noel would use for solos, and it just gives it a little bit more of that kind of, you know, that bigger sound, so to say. So that's why I've got reverb at 6. And normally I would, if I was going to use a pedal, I'd just use, you know, if I was going to use the delay pedal, I wouldn't use the reverb at all. But seeing as I'm not using pedals, reverb at 6, it does a nice job of kind of replicating that. I've got master volume today up nearly about 3 as well, because I'm not using the EQ, the amp's running quite quiet, so I've had to boost the master volume and all. But yeah, so there you go, 10, 0, 0, 0, and 6. And I say clean channel is not used. So without further ado, let's get to making more noise. Okay, so just quickly, one I kind of touched on it a second ago, but I just want to talk about it quickly before I get into playing. Like I say, Noel's tone has got a lot of clarity to it. And the tone I've kind of gone for is his live tone, especially kind of like 94, 95, 96 kind of era. Because it's really big, fat and distorted, but there's a lot of clarity to it, and you can hear a lot of picking. Like, you know, a lot of clarity when he picks out certain notes. So, for instance, like Shaker Maker, for instance, it's really distorted, but every note, you can hear every note when he picks. And that was what the Epiphone was not giving me. It was just mushing. And no matter how hard I tried to kind of like use treble and middle to compensate for that, it just wasn't having it. But with single coils, it just, and all the EQ all the way down, it gave me the kind of fatness and the clarity came from the pickup. So if I do kind of Shaker Maker, I'll show you what I mean. When you're doing that piggy thing, you can really hear there's a lot of clarity. Same with supersonic. you really hit those open chords, it's massive. Huge, and I say having the reverb that kind of high up just gives you that really cool. It's not the same as delay, but it's kind of doing that same thing it does, just making it, you know, just spreading the sound. Gain, but it's just enough. love it. I am loving this sound. It's massive. It's just humongous. It's a proper stadium rock tone. It's just huge, huge, and that reverb just does a real nice kind of. It kind of does what the delay does on Noel's sound. It just, like I say, it just spreads that sound out just even more. Unreal. Anyway, I think we should finish with a nice little bit of a sing-along, don't you think? I need you to all sing, and I think you'll know the words. singing, YouTube. And here's Wonderwall. Now I've scared you, Ben, didn't I? Yeah! No, I'm not going to play Wonderwall. But anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this video. And it's how many tones you can get out of one amp. This sound, there's so many sounds in this series I've done where I've just gone, this is amazing. But this is up there in the top 5. Easily up there in the top 5, this one. If not in the top 3. It's just huge. And to do solo, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. It's such a great sound. Oh, it's just ace. And chords. They're so big, but again, when you go picking them, you can hit every note. Like I say, that was the thing that was getting my goat with the Les Paul, but Les Paul wasn't doing that. It was just kind of mushing up. I'll tell you what, quickly. Let me show you what I mean. Let me just put this guitar down. It wasn't quite there. It's just a bit muddy. It's just a little bit too muddy for Les Paul. It just didn't quite have the clarity the Revelation had on my white Strat. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed playing it. Great singing, by the way, everyone. Awesome singing. Hopefully one day we can do it in a big room all together. And we can actually do it like really loud and just blow the roof off. And that would be great fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again for another one very, very soon. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday for another video. Have a great one. Goodbye now.